podcast for life.
Doggy Charles. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. The microphone messiah. Yeah. It's the microphone messiah. And Mr. No Days Off. Microphone messiah. Mr. No Days Off. Phil, Brandon, what's good, y'all? Let's go. Bullet Cast host. Look, this is the time for us to be great on podcasts. Let you know this is the time and how the vibe lasts. This is the feeling of time and when we on it. You know we got no time for no opponent, just the feeling. This is the time of the greats on everything that we say. You know we about getting paid. Every opinion of wrestling. You know we got the truth in it. Every time you know that we on, this is the movement. You know the Bullet Pass podcast been on. You know the time we on.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. Just in case if you don't, I am now a 29-year-old piece of gold. The microphone messiah, Phillip Antoine. First podcast of 2025. I'm here with the Canadian Destroyer, BT Brandon Tanguma, and the incense of violence, Marlee. What's going on, guys? Happy New Year, all the bull. Marlee, I've seen you multiple times already.
I know, right? There's multiple times too many.
That's crazy.
You see me one time. I made an appearance. Rare indie show appearance from your boy.
Brandon made a rare appearance, and it got a huge pop out of me.
Right. I mean, the rarest of rarest indie shows.
We're going to ignore that it's like 5 minutes away from my house. It was attached to a taqueria, but I still was there.
Yes, Wrestling for Charity.
Showed up.
Wrestling for Charity was this past Sunday. Shout out to everybody over there. Shout out to Tacos Blue Diamond. How the food? I hear it's stellar. Put over the food.
It was great food. I'll be honest. You know, I know this is something they can hang on their wall. It might be the best burrito in San Lorenzo.
There you go.
There was some competition there. There may be some jokes about San Lorenzo, but there are some spots, especially Mexican spots around there. And Blue Diamond, not Blue Demon, because I think the guy was some lawsuits, cease and assist, something we know about. But it's a great spot. I only had the burrito. I definitely want to go back there and try some other stuff.
Yeah, I think Bay Area Foods did a review and showed the matches, and Carlos was reffing at the very end of the video. So, shout out.
I will say that he was the referee for a triple threat lucha match. I will remember that match for the rest of my life.
You, brother.
Yeah, it was within the top 5 of most chaotic wrestling shows I've been to. Juneteenth is still number 1. I'd put the lucha show at like a solid 3 or 4. Fish tacos were good. The blue horchata was amazing. It was a good day.
Yeah, I fell on my face though. Anyway, we're gonna move on.
It was a great day.
Okay, all right, calm down. Let's move on, man. A lot to talk about. A lot has happened. We have a lot of fan mail today. You know how we're gonna do it. Normally, I like to go big. I'm trying to change it up. We're gonna try to stay in order this year, unless something monumental happens, and I'm gonna have to go off the walls, off the rails. All right. Outside the ring, Chris Charlton, New Japan commentator, has been suspended for calling Tony Khan a money mark.
Yeah, so this took place during the Kenny Omega Gabe Kidd match, which we'll talk a little bit more about inside the ring. But he was going heavy after AEW and going after Tony Khan, as you said, call him money mark, talked about, what is Jay White and Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada, what have they done in AEW? He was like, saying the quiet part out loud, and they were doing, telling the story of Gabe Kidd defending the honor of New Japan and all that stuff. But it did kind of come out of nowhere. I thought he went very hard. I don't know if this is an angle or not, but it did, he turned it up all the way to 11. I feel like unnecessarily. So I don't know if it was just harbored up aggression, emotion from him, or this was like him. They told him to go in that type of direction. He just went too far. I don't know, but it was interesting to say the least coming from him.
Wow. So what? Wow. This is
usually he's just kind of the I'm gonna say this lovingly, like the nerd, and he just is spouting off all these Japanese facts and talks all this stuff, and he was hyped up and very angry.
Kind of reminds me of that I don't care that you broke your elbow video.
So what he said, what the internet says, basically, is that what this is?
Yeah, he basically, said AEW taking all these New Japan guys and not doing anything with them. So, yeah, everything he said, I don't disagree with, but I just don't know if that's what you want to be saying on your joint AEW New Japan ROH CMLO show. But whatever.
It is what it is. Make it do what it do.
There you go.
Come on now. Hey, no, he said F it eyeball, and he just
Right?
wanted the business for himself. Oh man, that's what Tony Schiavone tweeted at him, like you're a jabroni and take a shower every once in a while. I was like, oh god. Speaking of AEW, apparently Malachi Black is allegedly done with the company if he hasn't finished up already, allegedly. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the Malachi Black experience in AEW has definitely been an up and down one of allegedly not wanting to do jobs or whatever the case may be. I think there is a story in there somewhere, but we're not going to know the full extent to it. And it seems as though he might be done. I mean, we kind of expected him to be done eventually, and they did play into what happened at the beginning of the Dynamite today. But yeah, it looks like he's probably going to go back to WWE. And if he does go back, I'm not sitting here. I think he's talented, but I just don't think he's like a difference maker and someone who like is going to get pushed all the way to the top. Even though Triple H was his guy back in the NXT days, so we will see.
We shall see. I mean, if SmackDown's 3 hours, then I heard it's going back to 2, whatever. If it's 3 hours, throw him on there. Give him some time. Put him in there with. God, you put him in there with really anybody, and give him 12 to 15 and let him go. Fan mail. Hootie Who 420.
Hootie Who.
Mates, the debut of Raw on Netflix was absolutely wonderful, but how can they top that? They can't do that every week. Well, yeah, I mean, this is just it's the debut, obviously. They're going to kind of bring out all the bells and whistles. We'll talk about it once we get there, but yeah, not every episode on Netflix is going to be stellar. We know that. There'll be parts that are good, but I mean, like, over like the last few months, like Raw really found that groove of being, on for 3 hours. They really found that momentum and the beats and everything hit, and it made sense. Yeah, we're gonna get to that eventually. Let's see what else we have. Copenhagen Smith. Oh my God,
he has risen.
Yes, he said, "Happy New Year." If we're still saying that, LOL, laughing face emoji. Just wanted to say I've enjoyed the episodes I've heard over the past few months, but I've noticed they've been a bit shorter. Why is that? Man.
So maybe someone ain't paying the bills, Zoom bills.
Yeah,
allegedly.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who's doing that, but nah, man. I mean, look, we don't have to sit here for an hour and 10 minutes. If we can get everything talked about in 35, 39, then so be it. We're kind of we're like Raw on Netflix. You never know how long we're gonna go. But you're gonna
Copenhagen Smith, if you want bloated, unnecessary talking, go listen to Under the Radar or any Curveballs and Church Shots episode recently. So there you go.
Yes, Under the Radar
People have jobs.
Huh?
People have jobs.
I mean, yeah, that too.
Life happens, Life happens.
Like we're like Raw on Netflix. You never know how long we're gonna go, but you're gonna be here for the whole ride. Come on now, man. Copenhagen, was great to hear from you, my guy. Dan, was Cena hanging up the jorts this year? Everyone is talking about what they want Cena to do. What is the one thing you guys don't want to see Cena do during the farewell tour? I don't want to see. Obviously, I don't want to see him to lose a lot. I mean, we need Super Cena.
I don't want to see the recent Cena that we've been getting of, Holly Jolly, G Willikers. I'm just happy to be here. I'm going to skedaddle on out. Unfortunately, we did get that kind of on Netflix on the debut episode, so I'm a little worried. I kind of hope we get more serious Cena, when he kind of sinks his teeth into some things, but we'll talk about it. Not up to the greatest of starts, I would say, for me personally.
Not off to the greatest of start. I mean, we'll talk about once we get to Raw. We'll talk about Marlee. What do you not want to see Cena do during the farewell tour?
It's going to be controversial, but I don't want to see him win the Royal Rumble. I don't think I kind of agree with what he said. Like getting to number 17 is kind of unrealistic, even if he was quote unquote working us. But I feel like he could have a solid retirement run without a title being involved. I mean, I also would like to see him win number 17, but he doesn't need number 17 to have this retirement run.
I think I have more of an issue of him winning the Rumble than 17. Like, it's Phillip's talked about it. It's a fake record. Ric Flair's not exactly the most pristine person in the world either.
Well,
And so, like, if they want if they want their guy Cena to win the title one more go around, I'm not gonna hate it.
And he doesn't necessarily have to win the Royal Rumble to win number 17.
We'll talk about, legends not being pristine and whatnot. But I will say this: the thing about Ric Flair, if he had walked out on Monday Night Raw, he would have got a pop. That's all I'm saying. For now anyway, brother. Moving on. Let's see what else we got. I know we got some DMs in the IG. Let's see. In Brightest Day X,
Mr. X,
a Hall of Famer. He says, "Happy New Year, BC Nation." Is Nakamura entering the Great Muta phase of his career? Probably. I like what you call it. I like it. It's fun. I dig it. It looks cool to me.
Yeah, I mean it's different. It's not, he's not trying to be New Japan Nakamura in WWE now. He's definitely like a different character, and he's playing the more brooding, kind of character. So it's fine for this phase of his career and where he is right now.
Marlee,
I feel like he's doing a mix of the Great Muta and also like doing his own thing. He's probably at that level of the Great Muta, but it still feels like Shinsuke is his own character, his own person outside of that.
that is true. I mean, he just blending things in. Like I said, I like it. I'm cool with it. Moving on. Has Gabe Kidd established himself as a star after his amazing match with Kenny at Wrestle Dynasty? Brennan.
I still think there may be some work to be done with Gabe Kidd in terms of like making him a star, but that match was just phenomenal. Gabe Kidd, I've heard good things about him, but haven't really watched too much of his recent stuff, and I was honestly blown away from his character work. And I mean, you get in there with Kenny Omega, pretty much anyone can have a really good match with him. But I said it. I feel like he should be the leader of the Bullet Club over David Finlay, and whether he stays in the Bullet Club and becomes a leader or he goes off and does his own thing, I think he's gonna be that next top gaijin for New Japan.
I like it. Marlee, what are your thoughts on Gabe Kidd? You familiar with this guy?
I'm mainly familiar with him in the Bullet Club. I've seen his match with Eddie Kingston that took Eddie out, but from what I've seen on social media, he does have good character work. He's on his way to being a solid, I don't know if he'd be considered a heel or a face. He's kind of like in that weird between, at least like now, because I remember when I was watching the cage match with United Empire and War Dogs, it was kind of very heel leaning, but he's kind of like coming in between. He's coming into his own. I feel like he's good with the Bullet Club War Dogs, and he's good on his own. Like he's already established that. Yeah, he can run with the dogs, but I don't think he necessarily needs them anymore. But he could be a solid leader if they choose to go that route.
That's fair. Gabe Kidd, he was in What Culture Pro, right?
I mean, I feel like everyone walked through there eventually, in those mid 2000 era or 2010 eras.
I feel like that's where I got familiar with him. He also goes on to say,
He's only 27. He's still got like a whole career ahead of him.
Jesus, he's younger than me. God damn. I'm old now. Anyway, he also goes on to say, I want to see a serious Penta in WWE, almost Pentagon Dark like. And like the others have said, keep him away from the LWO, let him do his own thing. Hey, yo, look, we get Pentagon versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania or Dragon Lee. I won't be mad at that.
I need Penta versus Damage Control. If you know, you know. Phillip doesn't know.
He might have to run it
Text me
back
on the
with
side.
Chelsea Green.
He did, right, Lucha Underground, right?
There we
He
go.
has to run it back with Chelsea Green for the one time, or at least pay homage to it. I'll be happy.
I mean, I need him to, because like, man, when we used to go to those APW shows and he was there, man, like just the aura that he had, it was like he was crip walking out to the ring. He just there was something about that guy, man. I need that Pentagon back, man.
I will say, I feel like Pentagon is almost hopefully, maybe kind of like Cody in terms of like, Cody was one thing in AEW and then he comes into WWE and kind of gets refried or, he gets sculpted, kind of shaving off
It's
some
a
of
factory reset, huh?
kind of getting like the bad stuff taken away from him and kind of pushing up the good stuff. And I think Penta, he has the charisma, he has that stuff in ring wise. Sometimes he can kind of be a little more that lucha style of the no selling and paying to the crowd and stuff. And maybe if we can kind of tighten some of the things up, maybe he can be something in WWE. But I mean, I was saying the same stuff about Dragon Lee, that I feel Dragon Lee could have been something special, and he's in the LWO and no one even knows how great he can really be.
Maybe he needs a system overload. Maybe that's what he needs.
Okay,
Anyway,
all right.
Anyway, go home. Last thing, which company other than WWE will have a standout year in 2025? TNA's been doing some good work, man. Let's see what they do. Well, I mean, they've been making it do what they're doing. They've been hot. They've been hot. They've been doing some good business. I think we'll see a good thing from Maple Leaf Pro. I know they just started. I think we'll see good stuff from them. Yeah, and then Oasis. We're gonna be doing some stuff. Come on now. Real talk. If anybody will have a 2025, it's gonna be the big Oasis. Hello.
We're gonna get that Peacock streaming deal. Just you wait.
Don't say that now. We're gonna be on. Well, what's everybody on Triller and Fight? Well, we're gonna be on. We gonna get a Tubi deal.
High spots.
We gonna get a Tubi deal, bro. You're watching Oasis Pro presents We Active live on Tubi. The kickback on Tubi.
That would go crazy. Hey now.
Live on Tout.
Not tout. Not tout.
We're streaming live on Marlee's Pinterest page. Oh man, good times. All right, let's get into SmackDown, guys. It's Tiffy time. It is officially Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton has cashed in on Nia Jax. She is now the WWE Women's Champion. Congratulations. Not the youngest world champion. How old is Tiffany Stratton? Like 26?
Yeah, I think so. 25, 26.
Yeah. Hasn't beaten Orton as the youngest world champion, but congratulations nonetheless to Miss Tiffany
25.
Stratton. 25. Oh,
May 1st.
okay.
See, this is crazy. See, also, Hulk Hogan. The related search is insane.
I got Ludwig Kaiser, Rhea Ripley, and Nia Jax, a little more on the nose, I would say, for Tiffany Stratton searches.
Yeah. But what were you guys' thoughts of the cash in, huh?
I mean, it's about goddamn time. They teased it about 500 times.
Yeah,
It was about time. It was the perfect time considering what Monday's date was. But I think it's well deserved. She's, despite the political views, it's well deserved. I'm proud of her.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was about time we finally cashed it in. And I mean, everyone's gonna say, "Oh, it got a pop." It's like, yeah, it's gonna get a pop. The cash in always gets a pop, no matter where you are. So, it is what it is. And then now we're finally gonna go with I guess, Tiffany Stratton babyface turn over Nia Jax, and leading that into Royal Rumble. That should be fine. I wonder what they do at WrestleMania, because obviously they're not gonna stretch it all the way out till then. So, like, where does Tiffany go?
the Queen.
That makes
Simple.
sense. I know Brian would be wherever Brian is. He's happy.
Right. Brian made a guest appearance on what episode 400? I mean, might have to bring him back on another guest appearance. Yeah, congratulations, Tiffany Stratton. She's improved a great deal. I mean, think about it. Her and Solo Sokoa got to the company at the same time, and look at where both of them are now. It's amazing with what 3.5 years can do. Brandon, tell us about Cody and Drew.
Well, that's a hell of a time for me to do the SmackDown recap because hand up accountability definitely did see SmackDown this week. Every other week I watched SmackDown, but then just what happened. I was scheduled. I was working. I saw the Tiffy cash in, and I was like, oh, they're doing a lot of stuff on Raw. Is anything gonna really happen on SmackDown? I mean, I know Solo Sikoa talked with Paul Heyman and said like, when I win, you're gonna be mine, and you're gonna give me the Ula-Fala and all that stuff. But when it comes to Drew and Cody, I didn't really see anything like on Twitter about those things.
Marley, did you
Yeah,
watch this?
yeah.
I did, but it all blends together, if I'm being honest.
Basically, Drew was trying to be all buddy buddy with Cody Rhodes.
New
That's big.
year, new me,
Okay, I
baby.
do remember this. I thought it was very awkward. The hug was very, very awkward. There's very lots of suspicion. I felt the suspicion on Cody's face, but for some reason, I think he thinks that they're going to join forces against the Bloodline, and Drew is just going to go back to his regular BS.
Not his regular BS.
As opposed, he's
Well,
been on some BS, and it's got to become normalized at this point. His regular BS.
I see. I see. Well, guys, pack your bags. 2026, we're going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for the Royal Rumble. It has been announced with the first international Royal Rumble.
First outside of North America, Royal Rumble.
Good
Yeah.
luck to the women.
International.
Yeah, because Canada, screw Canada, they don't count.
When was the Royal Rumble in Canada?
I don't know. They said North America, so I would assume that means they had a Canada Royal Rumble sometime.
Find out. Yeah, let's see. I mean, you're our stat guy. When was the Royal Rumble in Canada? But yeah, this is massive. I've never been to a Royal Rumble. That's kind of on the bucket list.
Apparently in 1988.
The first one,
Apparently.
the one that Hacksaw won. Okay.
Oh,
Oh. Oh man. Yeah, I've never been to a Royal Rumble. It's kind of on the bucket list.
hell of a time to go now.
February 1st is too soon for me to pull up to Indianapolis. I have to wait till 2027. Yeah.
Yeah, Royal Rumble. That would be something to experience live and in person.
Yeah, yeah. Brandon, have you been to a Rumble?
I have not. That's the one big show I have not gone to. If we're
I want to see certain matches live. Like I've seen a Hell in the Cell live. I've seen I want to see a Money in the Bank live. Just pop for things like that. Elimination Chamber, I'd like to see that live. That'd be dope. But yeah.
Yep, we're finally getting a Blood Money Royal Rumble, and it sucks. I know this is probably testing a lot of people's patience, a lot of people's goodwill. I mean, but WWE, TKO Endeavor, whoever the hell, got to get that bag, get that money, make your money, boo boo, and I mean, it is what it is.
Is the deal almost up? Because I remember when did they start doing these Saudi shows? Can we look that up? Because
Well, I feel like if the deal was up, they just coast to the finish line, give them their 2 shows a year, and call it a day. But now we're giving them the Royal Rumble.
Well, I mean, when was the first Saudi show? Because I remember they said it's supposed to be like a 10-year deal. First Saudi show was what, 2017? So what, 2027? It'll be the last one. I mean they probably negotiated for something bit like one of the major pay-per-views, and then I mean they're not going to take Mania there, so they had to look at it like, okay, man, we can give you a Rumble.
Not getting any clear answers. I got a whole college essay about it though.
It's looking like 2018 was when they first started.
Okay, then 2028.
The greatest Royal Rumble. How could we ever forget?
Yeah, that's right. So 2028, it'll be done and call it a day, and they'll probably renew. Yeah, let's move on. Omos wins the GHC tag titles. So happy for my guy. You know I'm an Homo sapien.
Homosexual.
Oh.
Hello.
All right.
Marlee, what are your thoughts on Omos winning a tag title in Japan?
FIWB. But I mean, I was kind of wondering where he was, and this essentially answered my question, to put it frankly. But that's kind of cool. Like, Omos, he's not really a big name guy. He's not like a Roman Reigns, a Cody Rhodes, but the fact that they sent him to Japan and he was able to win a tag team title, that's kind of big for how relatively new he is. Because how long has he been on the roster for him to go to Japan to do this?
Since 2022? No,
2020. He was a ninja. Don't forget, he debuted as one of Tozawa's ninjas.
2020. Okay, coming up on 5 years?
5 years in, and he's a tag team champion in Japan. That's, come on.
You know what the debut on Netflix needed? My guy Omos walking out with the GHC tag title.
Come on now.
He has both of them around his neck like Flavor Flav's chain, like the clock.
Yeah, boy.
He just comes out and that's it, and walked out. Massive pop. He would have got a Macaulay Culkin like pop. Come on now, stop playing with the kid. Yeah.
Rewatching the Raw on Netflix, I just noticed Io Sky popping hard for Jey Uso. That was kind of crazy.
I mean, as you should. Yeet.
Yeet, very valid. I just didn't notice it at first. Little Easter eggs you catch when you rewatch the movie for the second time.
You know what I popped hard for? Seeing Rito in the back.
No, same. I was laying here. I was looking. I'm like, is that Reno? Like, right? Again, I'm like, that's Reno.
And then I saw Jordan Oasis. I was like, hey, I know that guy. Big pops all around. Let's get into it. WrestleKingdom, Wrestle Dynasty. Brennan, tell us what was cracking with these shows, man.
Yeah, 2 nights at the Tokyo Dome. Not the 2-night Wrestle Kingdom, but first night Wrestle Kingdom on the 4th. Happy birthday, Phillip. And then the next night on the 5th with Wrestle Dynasty. Wrestle Kingdom. It's New Japan's biggest show of the year. And it definitely kind of showcased the state of New Japan. It was some okay stuff, but it definitely wasn't the heyday of New Japan, 6-7 years ago. But I thought the standout match for me personally, Yota Tsuji versus David Finlay. I just kind of trashed David Finlay. We're talking about Gabe Kidd, but this match was phenomenal. I thought it was a great match. Tetsuya Naito, God bless him. He's washed. You just absolutely hate to see it. And Zack Sabre Jr.
Naito?
I mean, he's got some eye issues. They talked about it. And I think that's one of the reasons why Zack Sabre Jr. cashed in his title shot early, is because they didn't want to put Naito in that spot to have, the main event of a Tokyo Dome show and have him go out there with his body, 30, 40 minutes. And, it sucks to see. And that's where he is right now. And then ZSJ beats Shota Umino. Retains the title. Good match. I felt like it went long for the sake of going long with 43 minutes. That was fine. Wrestle Dynasty, much lesser crowd, 16,000, I believe, for night 2 compared to 25 on night 1.
These were both in the Tokyo Dome.
They were both in the Tokyo Dome. Definitely could tell it was a much sparser crowd, and it was also an earlier time, so the light was kind of shining through the egg dome there. Mercedes, a lot more AEW and a lot more American talent on this show. Mercedes Moné beats Mina Shirakawa. Some other stuff. The Young Bucks win the IWGP tag titles. And the match everyone's talking about, rightfully so, Kenny Omega taking on Gabe Kidd. Fantastic match. If you haven't, go see it. If you want, there's full videos of it up on Twitter and probably elsewhere on the internet. If you haven't, go see it. And Ricochet, Zack Sabre Jr. close it out, and it was fine. It was good. It was a good match. Ricochet, not exactly wrestling heel. He just kind of wrestled like a independent Ricochet, just going out there doing some high spots and yeah. So
he challenged for the IWGP title.
He did, and it also kind of played into why I wasn't the biggest fan of the match, because you all know Ricochet wasn't going to win. It was going to be Zack Sabre Jr. all the way, and so it kind of did damper the.
Didn't El Phantasmo win a championship?
Yeah, he is your new Now there's like so many titles now I can't remember. It's not the
Oh, they created another new championship over there?
Well, the
Yes.
Yoda Tsuji and David Finlay were fighting for the global title, which I'll be honest, I don't even know. I think he's the TV champion now. I think Elp is
Wait,
the TV
what?
champion.
Oh, that's right. That the big square that Jeff Cobb had and ZSJ and Riddle, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we were just talking about him having cancer. Wow, that's a hell of a bounce back.
Shout out to boy Elp from Vancouver, but I'll let it slide.
Come on, shout out to him. NXT New Year's Evil happened. The final or Nice Dwayne was there, interacted with people. He took his daughter to the Golden Globes. You love to see it. Oba Femi is the new ruler of NXT. He's the NXT champion. Congratulations to him. Julia dethroned Roxanne Perez. Congratulations to her. You love to see it all around, man. NXT was popping.
Yeah, it was a fun show out in LA. So once again, NXT touring. So kind of getting out of the performance center, which I think is a good look. Julia winning, not exactly a surprise. Roxy, I think, is going to be on to bigger and better things. Maybe she debuts at the Rumble and kind of goes on from there. Obafemi beating Trick Williams was a little bit of a surprise. I do wonder where they go from here because it wasn't too long ago where he lost it to Ethan Page and then he just wins it back for the CW debut. So now are we going to run it back again? He's going to win 3 titles in like less than a year. I don't think so. But then I think jury's out on Trick right now in terms of like, is he main roster ready or like, want to send him to the main roster? So I don't know what the thinking behind that was.
Well, I mean, like there are guys that stayed there for after they were champions, like like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso and etc.
I mean, Braun Breaker. We were saying Braun Breaker was going to beat Roman Reigns at the LA WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Oba can go on and do something else, and Trick maybe can tell another story, and then Stand and Deliver can be his final pay-per-view, and then go do something else. But all in all, congrats to everybody that took home gold in NXT New Year's Eve. It looks like they're doing a great job. You guys ready to talk about the debut of Monday Night Raw on Netflix? I don't know if you guys know this, but on January 6th, Raw debuted on Netflix around the world.
Had
For
no
the first
idea.
time globally. WWE Raw has never been streamed globally ever before outside of, YouTube TV and Tubi and whatever other television streaming service they're out there. But this one was the first one ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Marlee, are you ready?
I've kind of been ready. I'm so ready that I'm watching it twice.
Come on now. Should I throw it on? Should we have to throw on Raw on Netflix again? I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm already at Drew and Jay.
No, we're gonna talk about that. So yes, Raw on Netflix. They're at the Intuit Dome. I mean, just everything, the round mic flags, the graphics, the drone flying throughout the building. While you're watching the matches, you just see the drone flying by. The stage setup, just it looked. I mean, obviously it had PLE vibes, but just the aesthetic. Let's start with the aesthetic. Marlee, your thoughts on the aesthetic of Monday Night Raw on Netflix?
It feels grittier, if that's the right word. It feels more intense. It feels more in your face.
Brandon, what about you?
I was almost going to go the opposite route of just saying how like glamorous it looked, and I think the Intuit Dome, that new arena, was definitely the star of Raw because they had all the lights, they had the cool visuals and stuff, and I forget what exactly anyways, but I thought the arena looked phenomenal. The drone shots, which they did at the early days of Fox, and they kind of give up on that, but the big sellout, so the crowd looked amazing. It will be interesting next week when we comes to San Jose, which is a older building, so it's gonna kind of just blend in. So I think just the fact that it was at the Intuit Dome kind of made it bigger and kind of made it more futuristic than I think than Raw's, frankly, all the other ones are going to be.
I'm gonna put it to you like this: I think Raw next week in San Jose will do much better than the last wrestling show I went to in San Jose at the SAP Center.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be a lot better experience.
Come on now. Yeah, Marley, you'll be in attendance, right?
I will. I will be in attendance in the nosebleeds because there's no way they are taking my entire check for me to sit close because I'm blind.
Hey, no, it's good. Just get a cheap ticket and work your way down.
There you go. Hello.
Hello. Yes. I mean, the black ring mat. SmackDown had a slick blue one. I love that. Raw had the black one with all the ads on it. Kind of looking like a GCW show a little bit. The referees with the new shirts and everything, and just the announce table, and just it all looked very good. So Triple H is there. They had a giant tarp covering the ring. They take it down. Hunter standing in the middle. He asks everybody, "Are you ready?" And then The Rock comes out, the final boss. So we think comes out. And he's good guy Rock, corporate Dwayne. Gives a shout out to Roman Reigns. Gives a shout out to Cody Rhodes. Tells Cody Rhodes to let Mama Rhodes know. Rock said, "What's cracking?" Yeah, and he just comes basically being an ambassador. What were your thoughts on this? Everybody was expecting, like he put out that video on his social media talking about how he's a high chief in the culture, High Chief Sayoli, I think that's how you pronounce it. Usos, don't come at me for that one. But yeah, it talks about that, and then it just says 1/6/25. And I'm like, oh my god, the final boss is going to be on the debut episode. We had our speculations, but it was confirmed. And then he didn't do final boss stuff. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the opening segment with The Rock, I thought was a big disappointment. I mean, it was more like Dwayne The Rock Johnson came out, TKO owner, shareholder, whatever his official title is. And he just came out there, was hobnobbing, sucking off the Netflix executives and all that stuff. And it was just like, it was just boring. It was just kind of like him talking for the sake of talking and then just kind of throwing out the Cody Rhodes stuff. And now that being said, if we do end up coming back around and we get, Final Boss Rock or whatever incarnation of The Rock we get, and he kind of plays into that and then turns again and does something, like, I'm okay with that. But if this was just, once again, Rock putting himself at the front to do what he wants to do and screw everything else that WWE has lined up, then it's like, okay, this is just who he is now, because no acknowledgement for what happened the night after WrestleMania with Cody and, whatever he gave him, they seem to be fine. They didn't even acknowledge that was even a thing.
So I'll let Marlee give her thoughts, and then I'll say what I'm going to say. Marlee, do you have thoughts on Nice Guy Dwayne?
It very much was. I'm sorry, I'm like babysitting.
Does the cat have anything to say about Nice Guy Dwayne?
Does Yoshi have anything to say about Nice Guy Dwayne? Or trying to keep him out the shot? It did feel like Dwayne The Rock Johnson more than it was the final boss Rock. It kind of just felt like everything that he did with Cody got retconned. It felt like I was at a shareholders meeting.
So yeah, I mean, I saw something online where people were like, of course, like the member of the board will come, kind of like shake hands, kiss babies, make sure everybody's good, and then go back to, they bullshit. So I mean, Bad Blood. The Rock comes out 1, 2, 3, slices his throat and walks out. Is this the one? Is this the first part?
Brother, it ain't that deep.
I feel well.
We live in an era where everything counts.
Well, to be fair, it was the premiere, and maybe he had to put on the airs to please the Netflix officials on day one. Who knows what can happen on day two?
Because I mean, like you look at it. You look at it. There are new eyes on on Raw and WWE now. Like people are watching wrestling that haven't been watching in years. I mean, you go on social media, women are falling in love with Roman Reigns and haven't watched wrestling in years, and people are talking about Rhea Ripley and all this other stuff and whatnot.
Like what Total Divas did for WWE.
Yes.
But on a bigger scale, because this is Netflix.
So, I mean, if you look at it, did Dwayne have to be this version of himself? Because if you just jump right back into it, the new people watching, okay, well, why is this happening? But a shout out to Michael Cole and for really giving a general synopsis of everything throughout the show. Like obviously playing to the fans that have been watching all this time, and then playing to the people who are just tuning in. He did a great job with that, and shout out Pat McAfee, did a great job as well. But man, like I said, man, this might be the one. Now, Brandon, it may not run that deep like you said, but we live in an era where everything counts. Shout out Sam Roberts for coining the phrase. I don't know. I'll like to wait and see what happens with that. And then we get into tribal combat for the sacred Ula-Fala. Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns. Man, it was a tribal combat match. This is probably the best tribal combat match we've ever seen. We can say that. It had all the bells and whistles. It was as Roman Reigns' matches are, they're usually good wrestling matches before the interference starts. You know? And I mean they did good business. Tama Tonga comes out there, then Jake comes out there. I love you Solo before the DDT. Roman's kicking out. Sammy and Jay come out there, take out Jake and Tama Tonga. You think it's clear. Out of nowhere, Kevin Owens comes. I was like, oh, that actually surprised me. And it gave him a stunner. And then people were like, is Cody just going to be in the crowd for the Rock to wave at the Rock? You know, when he's all over the promotional material. No, comes out there, starts squabbling, squabble up. They're in LA. They got to squabble up with Kevin Owens and whatnot. Cody Cutter, they fight into the crowd. And yeah, man, it was just chaotic. All in all, Roman Reigns pins Solo Sikoa, and he is the true tribal chief. Shout out to the Kobe 9s he was wearing. Shout out. The custom Kobe's.
Real RIP.
Right. Brandon, what are your thoughts on all of this? From the custom Kobe's to the Rock placing the Ula-Fala on Roman Reigns.
Kobe's, shout out, looking fresh. The match itself, I do wonder what was the thinking behind putting that match on first. I get it, if you're not last, you won't be first, but then also you talked about the new fans. This match was was all storyline. It was just if you eat all the people involved, the run-ins, why is this Kevin Owens guy showing up? He doesn't seem like he's a part of it. What's this white guy doing with all these Samoans and the Tongans? But so maybe I do wonder what the casuals or the first time people watching thought of it. I mean, Roman looked like an absolute mega star coming out there, so I thought that was a big positive, and the match itself was good.
That's why they put him on first, and not to cut you off, not to break your eyes, but I mean, have your biggest star in the company go out there to be the first match on Raw on Netflix. But back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, and then Rock comes out, puts the Ula-Fala on Roman, on Roman, and the crowd was not chanting Rocky. They were not chanting, whatever they would chant. They were chanting for Roman, which I think is a big sign, and that it also makes the opening segment a little more quizzical, because then Rock comes back out. I don't want to say Bigfoot's the moment, but he comes out, makes it about himself, and then that was an obvious tease of something, whether it's at this year's WrestleMania, next year's, who knows when it's going to happen.
I don't think it was. I mean, you have to remember.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying he really was Bigfooted. I'm just saying he kind of came out there and he laid the groundwork a little bit in the beginning, talking about he's a high chief and all that stuff. So it made sense. But I'm just saying he didn't need to be out there.
Exactly. I mean, look, when the Ula-Fala was introduced to television, Roman Reigns' father, Sika, and his uncle, Alpha, they were the ones that bestowed it upon him. They were his elders. Unfortunately, they're no longer with us. Rock talked about him being a high chief. He's an elder to Roman Reigns. So he came out there, for the culture and for the family, for the bloodline, to acknowledge him, here you go. You're the tribal chief. You're the one holding it down for our family. I think that's all that was. But then again,
he didn't fully acknowledge him. He gave him the Ula-Fala, but he didn't put the one up or any of that other stuff.
And also, I mean, it was kind of a nice moment. I mean, think about it. 10 years ago, 2020, 2015, 2025, 10 years. They were standing in the ring together, getting booed out of the building in Philly. Here we are, 10 years later. Crowd goes absolutely crazy for these guys, or especially for Roman and all the work he's done. But Marlee, what are your thoughts on everything with tribal combat?
I also think it was kind of all storyline, and on that level, starting the show would confuse the newer fans who are just tuning in to WWE. But on the other side, have your biggest star open the show, set the tone for the show. If it's Netflix, if it's if it's a show or an episode as big as a Netflix premiere, obviously have Roman Reigns open the show, have The Rock open the show, use your heavy hitters to set the tone. The storyline wise, if I was just tuning in, I'd be very confused as to why they're fighting and what the storyline was.
Well, yeah, but that's what Michael Cole is there for, to let you know.
But still, like, Michael Cole's there, but then if you don't have the full backstory, if you didn't watch the hour-long Bloodline recap, you're just opening Netflix after a day at work, you're tuning in for the first time, Michael Cole probably won't help you with the deeper context of everything.
I was surprised they didn't do any like PLE like video recaps.
Yeah, that would have been nice. At least like that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like at least a video recap for the new viewers.
Because the show definitely overall just felt like a PLE. Like it was just matches, some things here and there, but pretty much it was just like the matches were the main part. And so I'm surprised they didn't just, do some video packages to hype the three main matches that the show is anchored around.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that didn't fit into the time. Now I know they don't really have a time restraint now. They ran 5 minutes over with this one, but so I don't know. You gotta wait and see. There were commercials, which was interesting. People were thinking Raw was just gonna just run straight through, but you need those breaks so you can reset and get guys out of the arena and move on to something else.
And pay for the marketing.
Of course,
international people don't get commercials. And then I was also, I was listening to a podcast afterwards, and people were saying they weren't getting commercials, even though they were in the United States. Some have a VPN. I don't know. So it does seem like there is a little randomness when it comes to the commercials. Like I don't have like the highest tier, but I have like the non-commercial version, and I still got ads.
Yeah. I did get ads too. Even well, not on the replay. There's no ads on the replay.
Of course not.
Besides, like they're like WWE shop ads and stuff, but not like not like the regular ads when you're actually live streaming it.
Cena's promo, the last time is now. Big match. John comes out there, Dodgers blue, talks about the possibility of winning a 17th title. How his win-loss record is not great, and that doesn't seem plausible. But he said maybe I can win Money in the Bank. Maybe I could win the Elimination Chamber. Maybe I could win the Royal Rumble. So he said he's going to punch his lottery ticket. He's entering the Royal Rumble for the last time. The last time is now. Do, 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 do.
I mean,
last time is truly now.
Yeah.
If Cena's going to come out every single week or however many times he's going to show up, and he's always dressed in different colors based on the local sports team, I mean, God bless him, because he's going to make a bunch of money off of that. And
I mean, that's what he said in the presser after. Says he's going to try to kind of go back to that a little bit.
But I talked about it a little bit. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Cena promo. Just you kind of talked about it, and you made it seem a lot more serious in tone than the actual promo was. He was like, guys, I haven't won in 2,000 plus days. I don't know if I have it anymore, guys. Oh well, and I know you guys want to me to get the 17th championship, but there's just no way I don't deserve a title. Oh, but then what happens if I like win an Elimination Chamber or a Money in the Bank or well, God damn it, there's a Royal Rumble around the corner. I might join that. And that's basically the tone of the promo. And I thought it was just eye-rollingly Cena, which has been what he's been doing the last couple of years.
But no, I felt some nostalgia when he said, if you want some, come get some. We need that Cena back. That's the John Cena we need. We need the buzz cut Cena ready, throwing it up for the chain gang. You know what I'm saying? That's the John Cena I need. Yeah, exactly. Hey, you remember when he was doing this? Y'all remember that John Cena? Yeah, I need that.
It was nostalgic for sure, but there was like an element of corniness, kind of like bouncing off what Brandon said. Like,
oh no, of course.
I don't know if I'm gonna do it, But there is a Royal Rumble around the corner, so who knows? That was kind of like corny, but
We need
the
serious Cena.
nostalgia was there. Who?
We need serious Cena.
Yeah, we need ruthless aggression Cena. I need him to go back to knocking MFs out.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the Cena that was going up against CM Punk back in the day. Like, we need that John Cena where the promos are on point, the matches are just hitting on a different level. I need that John Cena. Now he's older, so I don't know about the matches hitting like that, But that Mike game, he's still one of the coldest in his game for real. So we'll see. Rhea Ripley regains the world championship, the women's world championship. She defeats Liv Morgan.
Not a last woman standing match.
No, it was not.
What happened there?
They scrapped that.
Which is fine. Like, I don't think last man woman standing matches are really good because it just hurts the flow of the matches. But anyways,
that's neither here nor there. Rhea regains the championship, kicks Daddy Dom in the you-know-what, gives him a riptide, celebrates on the stage, and then the gong hits. Taker got a pop. Rides the bike around.
Where's Limp Bizkit? The real American Badass theme is rolling, not Kid Rock. Come on, people. What are we doing? Pay Fred Durst his money.
Kid Rock, he's in the Hall of Fame, so
I know Fred Durst flipped the camera off whatever was SummerSlam, whatever show that was, but give the man his money.
So you can just use that, and it's easier licensing all these things. Anyway, they throw the fist up, and Rhea, I guess, gets the rub from the American Badass Dead Man. Yeah,
definitely a random pairing, but it was a moment, and I think you can kind of see this and like, okay, they're in the Rhea Ripley business, and they should be.
It's not that bad. It's not that random. She wears all black. He wore all black. It's not that random.
They have tattoos.
All right.
Rhea Ripley's gonna come out in a motorcycle next week.
She walks out to purple lights. He walked out to purple lights. It's not. It's. She wears eyeliner. He wore guyliner. It's not that far fetched. Keep rolling.
I need to see Rhea Ripley on a hog. And for those who don't know, that's a metaphor. That's
Marlee.
That's a bike. It's a bike. We're talking about a bike here.
Tell me your thoughts on this match.
Honestly, I did get slightly distracted because the next thing on the list just happened on TV, but I thought it was. I'm kind of glad that the Liv and Rhea saga is over because it just got dragged on too long. The Judgment Day thing got dragged on too long, and I totally forgot it was supposed to be a last woman standing match. I forgot how that was advertised, but in the business, what's advertised doesn't always get executed.
Card subject to change.
Right? Hello. But I thought it was. I don't know. I just feel like Rhea and Liv have put on the same kind of match. At least like the last few matches they've had have kind of just all blended together into the same match. But congrats to Rhea on regaining.
Yes, absolutely. They panned out to some people. You saw Topanga, Wale, Bill Simmons.
What's up with Will Friedle erasure? He was like right next to Topanga.
How about them going to Michelle McCool, and then Lyra's right there, but then they go to Dakota, and then they go back to Lyra when they could have just went to Lyra first.
Or they showed X-Pac twice because they didn't have the name ready.
Hey, it's good. It's good. Bill Simmons got booed, but not like the person we're about to talk about.
And shout out Bill Simmons for staying focused when Nikki Bella's doing her dance right in front of him.
Yeah, Nikki Bella was there. Shout out to her. Macaulay Culkin, massive pop.
Stephanie McMahon.
Yes, the $1 billion princess. Hello, the queendom.
Honestly, Punk and Rollins is just about to start. That's where I'm at in this replay.
Yes. I didn't even turn it on. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. You're all good.
But yeah, man. Hogan comes out there. Jimmy Hart's waving his flag. Like that's
what did Jimmy Hart ever do? Why does the crowd hate Jimmy Hart so much? They're booing him out the building.
Dude, I mean,
by
this
association,
was.
I guess.
I mean, I watched. I know some people that were there. Shout out Alfred Pro Wrestling Bits. Shout out Ben Cruz from the Ringer. I was watching their stories and stuff. dude, those boos. Like, if you thought it was bad on TV, like, go watch some fan footage. It's crazy. This is where he's at now, and people will say it's political views. Him and Taker both voted for Trump, but
Taker had Trump on his podcast.
Yes, he got cheered. I think it's he blended the two worlds. That's what it is for Hogan. And I know they got his American beer lager or whatever the hell it is as a partner, and I think he did a Saturday Night's main event promo. But like, bro, like he posted a video getting off the plane in a MAGA shirt, bro. Like, what are we doing? He blended the two worlds, and you don't know who's who. And this is where I go back to saying Ric Flair's a flawed man, sure, but
not as bad.
Ric Flair kind of owns his flaws.
Yes. Ric Flair owns his flaws, and he could have walked out there, got a massive pop, did this, maybe elbow dropped a jacket, possibly even wrestling again. I saw a video of him lacing up some boots. I don't know what's going on. WrestleMania 41. The last time is now. Come on now, but yeah, man. I mean, Hogan, Jesus Christ, this should tell them all they need to know. Like, no, his time is up. It's been up.
Yeah, I mean the Rock promo at the beginning. Like, I do wonder, like, was this just some Netflix executives like, oh, I know Rock, I know Hulk Hogan, have them on the show. They should draw ratings.
Hogan, the partnership with the beer. So yeah, I'm sure
that's so like, if only there was like a WWE legend who like has his own beer and like could sponsor it or whatever. And
well, apparently they couldn't agree on on something.
And I just want to make this clear. We are on the podcast, and like, sometimes we talk about legacy or whatever, and I feel like I defend Hulk Hogan in terms of his importance to the business and like how great of a person or how great of a wrestling star he was back in the day. But it's still fuck Hulk Hogan forever and always.
Yes.
So make that clear.
Even from beyond the grave, Iron Sheik is still tweeting.
That's true levels of hater dedication that I can only aspire to achieve.
Oh, I'll teach you. I'm at that level with certain people. But yeah, no, I mean, it's like as a worker, and Marlee, I'm sure you can attest for this too because you're training. Respect for what he did for our business. Yes, took it mainstream. 100%. Made it a booming business in the 80s. But I mean, just the person, no, like, we're cool. You ruined the character because you blended your real life personality into it.
You can definitely separate the art from the artist when it comes to Hulk Hogan.
No, it's one and the same. I mean, now, but like
now, yes,
yeah, it's like once in the Gawker trial. What did he say? Like,
which one? The one that he said that Hulk Hogan has a 10-inch penis, but Terry Bollea only has like a 5-inch penis or something.
Yes, that. Like that right then and there was like, okay, guy. Like, what? Yeah,
it's true. Look it up.
You didn't know about this?
I knew about the trial. Didn't care enough to look into the details. That's the first I'm hearing of any details.
Which ironically was about like 10 years ago. Yeah.
I don't think I need to hear any more details.
Like, that's Hulk Hogan. I'm Terry Bollea, brother. Like, it's just yeah. And this is how he got away with it. Just, oh man. I know another Terry we know is having a tough time.
All right, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Listen. That Terry did nothing.
In all seriousness, it's time for him to to hang up the bandana, brother. Like, just
go back to doing Republican conventions because that seems to be the only crowd that'll cheer you,
bro. Alfred. He posted on his story, Hogan's getting booed like he's at the Democratic National Convention. Big pop out of me for that. Yeah, I mean, he didn't even get the ripped shirt thing at the Democratic or at the Republican thing. I'm just like,
I bet you if Hulk Hogan went to the Democratic National Convention, he endorsed Kamala or whatever, they would have cheered him probably more than what this crowd was going to cheer because the wrestling fans know everything about him, and they know it. Like, the political views are one thing, but also the racist stuff he said in the past has carried over in his lack of apologies. I mean, he was getting booed at WrestleMania 37 when he was dressed up as a pirate with Titus O'Neil.
In Florida. And half of the crowd was cutouts. Yeah. Oh God. Let's talk about Jey Uso, man. Jey Uso defeated Drew McIntyre. Yay. Came
with
out there
Cactus
with
Jack. Not Mick Foley, but Travis Scott.
Yeah, came out there with Travis Scott. Travis Scott has some sage. You know what I'm saying? Man,
Still couldn't figure out what type of sage that was.
man.
Could not figure out what that sage was wrapped in because
Heard
a J and a B are two different things.
I heard a story about what happened afterwards, and that I'm not gonna get into on here. But yeah, Jesus, man. Shout out Travis Scott walking out with his custom hardcore title. I mean, Jay, he's a vibe, man, and I'm surprised he won this match. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Drew, he beat Sammy. I thought he was just gonna beat Jay here and then continue being the bloodline hunter. But and Jay's on the Saturday night's main event poster.
Yeah, you can't kill that momentum, especially going into Saturday night's main event and going into the Rumble. Can't kill that momentum.
Man, you know what? Maybe they run it back. Maybe Drew just beats all the bloodline people on Saturday night's main event.
Hey, 5-on-1, let's get it.
No, I'm saying like maybe Drew beats Jay at Saturday night's main event, and then maybe Jay eliminates Drew from the Rumble. Could be something. Could be a little interesting. Brandon, what are your thoughts on Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, match was good. Continuing with the Drew McIntyre thing of he kind of to like get in his own way in terms of who's really stalking Jay, and he missed the Claymore and then got rolled up on. So this is gonna roll into him being angry and wanting to really kill Jay. And if you were a casual person, you saw Jey Uso in that entrance with Travis Scott, you think he's the biggest star in wrestling, even bigger than Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. And it was a sight to behold. And I do wonder what they do with him, because it's I feel like he kind of has the glass ceiling, and I just don't know if they're gonna go all the way with him. But then I don't know if you want to go all the way with him. If he's perfectly fine being where he is and he's living it up.
I mean, Jay put on a story. I want to be world champion in 2025. I think it'll happen.
He might win the Rumble. You never know.
I see it happening later in the year, but he might. I mean, he was on the poster last year. Yeet in the bank could be a thing this year. I
mean, if Cody and John is for one title, Jay versus Gunther for the SmackDown, because probably Gunther and the world title is going to go over to SmackDown, and if Jay is the world champion over there, that makes a ton of sense.
I mean, could you imagine Money in the Bank, stare off on the ladder, Jey Uso and John Cena? Just a stare off in the Rumble, you're down to the final five, the final four.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this Royal Rumble because it's so open. You can go in so many different directions. I mean, Roman, Drew, Jay, Cena, Punk, Rollins to a lesser extent to kind of those other people. I think there's just so many different options you can go with, and I don't think there's any clear, true winner I feel like there's been these last few years. Yeah,
it's very interesting to see where we're gonna go. Let's talk about the main event, the first ever main event for Raw on Netflix. Seth freaking Rollins went up against the Second City Saints, CM Punk. CM Punk wearing the Brawl In jacket, if you will, if you will.
Callbacks. The callback.
Yes, multiple AEW callbacks. In this
Petty
whole thing.
Punk is best Punk.
Hey, come on now. Where do you think I get it from? One petty filled to another. Hello. But yeah, man. I mean, this is talk about aura. Talk about big match feel. I love this shot of Punk walking backwards and the overhead. I love that so much. This felt big. It felt special. And
it's a good match.
Punk. What Punk was Punk? 45, 46. Going 46 out there.
Is just a number.
Yeah, come on now. We'll talk about the post match promo that he did with Jackie Redmond, but overall, Marlee, I mean, you and we're both the Punk people on this show. what were your thoughts on just this whole thing?
I'm not a Punk person.
Well, I mean, we talk on a normal base. That's
Peep
true.
the plaque.
Peep the plaque, black.
I mean,
Peep the plaque for real. No
I'm a
toothbrush, no floss.
elevator
Peep the
buddy.
plaque.
Yes, that's right. Brandon and I are elevator buddies of CM Punk. But we'll let the lady go first. Marlee, thoughts on Punk versus Rollins?
Wow, the actual politeness is crazy. That's throwing me off.
2025, you're welcome. You only
He's
get one.
changing. Wow. And you only get one hairline. But I'm watching the match right now, and I thought it was worthy of the main event. If logistically, like in the rewatch, watching it a second time, if we flipped to where this opened the show and Roman and Solo main evented, I feel like it would have still kept the same vibe throughout the show. But I feel like they excelled. Like when you get the main event spot, they excel. Seth made Punk look good. Punk made Seth look good, and he also made himself look good in the ring. And like he said, we'll get there, but 46 is just a number. He's still going. Like he just got here, and it's crazy.
Brandon, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was a good match. A little plotting at times, and we can get into the whole argument of maybe there's like too many like finishers and finisher kickouts in the match. But that's kind of just where the wrestling industry is in the year of our Lord 2025. And Punk winning, it makes sense because I think you should be in like the build Punk up business right now, heading to WrestleMania. And Seth Rollins is, he's Seth Rollins. He'll be fine. He'll be able to recover from this. And I think you want to build Punk for whatever major match, whatever major happenings you have him for the Rumble and WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, just good stuff. As far as the finishers, I mean, the pedigrees and stealing the go to sleep. I've always looked at it like this, like, okay, that's not. I mean, sure, Rollins used the pedigree for a period of time, but like that's not his move, so he can't hit it the way Hunter can. And the GTS, like Punk said in the post show presser, it's the first time anybody's ever hit it on him, and it's not Rollins' move, so we can't do it the way Punk does it. The stealing the curb stomp, I was like, oh, okay. The dive outs.
Running knee.
Yeah, the dive outs. I was like, oh my god, Punk, be careful on all that. But the finish was great. It was a callback to when he wrestled Mox in 2022. Ironically enough, wasn't that the
before Brawl Out?
Yes.
That was right before Brawl Out. Yeah.
Yeah, the go to sleep, the collapse on the knees. He falls on him, picks him up, hits him with the go to sleep again. I mean, just the superplex into the go to sleep, the fall, and then to get back up and do it again. Great for CM Punk. Big, massive win in Los Angeles. And then the post-match promo, 46 is just a number. I'm coming for Gunther. I'm coming for Cody. I'm clutch. I'm game 7. I'm Mr. October. I'm the best in the world. What's my name? Just excellent promo. Hypes you up, Good stuff.
Morning affirmations.
What'd you say?
Morning affirmations.
Right? Come on now. I'm game 7. Put that on the list. Come on now.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Say now.
Hi, hello. Brandon, thoughts on the post-match promo? I mean, it's Punk. This is what he does.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great. I mean, I think this is just my favorite type of promo, just kind of like the real sports-like, in the heat of the moment, post-match, like, I'm the best type promo. I think it's like one of the top promos I love in wrestling.
Absolutely. Raw on Netflix. What is our grade for the debut episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix?
A-.
Okay.
As much as I was kind of dogging on The Rock and Cena stuff, I'm going to give it an A. I thought it was, the presentation I thought was phenomenal. The matches I thought all played out well. Kind of back to normal next week, but just for the spectacle that it was, I thought they hit it at the park.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an A, man. They did good business. I loved everything I saw. It was special. I would have loved to have been in the building for that, but there's always San Jose.
Yeah, as much as this is like the debut, I almost don't count this as like a real Raw just because of how like what it was like next week and like the week after, and like once we get into the flow of things, then we can like really see
I
what
mean,
Raw Netflix is.
let's think about what we're gonna get, man. I mean, next week's the women's IC title finals. You're gonna in San Jose. You're gonna crown the first ever women's Intercontinental Champion. Damian
Street fight.
Priest. A San Jose street fight. Damian Priest and Finn Balor, and then Chad Gable's challenged any luchador.
Some
Wonder,
luchador guy, I don't know who it is. I mean,
Some random luchador. I had no idea.
I almost want. I almost want like.
it's gonna be George Kittle in a Pentagon Junior mask.
Right.
Almost want like one of the Creed brothers to come out or something, just something stupid. I think that'd be funny. But yeah, San Jose looks like it's gonna be popping with a good Raw, and then you never know who else is gonna pop up. Good stuff overall. AEW Ospreay defeats Buddy Matthews.
Yeah, once again, I forgot to say this on the Under the Radar. No Pointer Sisters. I'm so excited intro for this AEW show, which I was happy about. Like, I'm not knocking the song. I'm so excited. Not a wrestling show entrance theme. I'm just
Yeah.
Not too much on my cousins now.
Hey, shout out to the Pointer Sisters. They're Eastmont Mall legends.
That,
If you know, you know.
And that was shoot. Not too much on my cousins now.
No, Bob. Do you know why they're Eastmont Mall legends?
Not too much on my cousins now.
But you know.
Trust me. That's family. That's real family right there. That's Granny's side.
Brandon, we'll tell you off here.
I'm
yeah.
so lost right now. But anyways, Ospreay and Matthews, it was a fun match. Ospreay wins, shocker, and then he tells Matthews that him and Brody King don't need to be a part of a group. I don't think he named Malachi Black. They just kind of like insinuated or hinted at him. Still representing the House of Black. So as we talked about at the beginning of the show,
Oasis got a real House of Black. Stop playing.
Might be on the outs. So there you go.
Wow.
Then we got the Hurt Syndicate. They enter a private party's little celebration, which, I mean, it was what it was.
Forgot they were the tag champs. Jesus Christ.
Oh, they just defended on Saturday, but maybe not for long because the Hurt Syndicate says they're coming for that ass. And looks like Bobby Lashley and Sean Benjamin might be taking those tag titles off Private Party, which I am all for, I think.
Oh, it's not 2022 anymore?
No. It's not 2019 anymore.
2019. I was thinking about the other tag team. Jesus. Yeah, it's not 2019 anymore. Damn. Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 years too late. It really was. Timing is everything in wrestling, man. I mean, it's like when Kenny won the IWGP title, I was like, okay, but like you could have won it like a few months ago. It would have felt a little better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like Private Party, there was like a little bit something there, but I feel like they never really like completely clicked. Kind of like how I think the Acclaim clicked when they won the tag titles, and
I mean, top. I miss the Acclaim, but oh my guys, my dog.
We had a Casino Gauntlet match to determine the number one contender for the title next week in Cincinnati. Take on Moxley and our boy Powerhouse Hobbs. Got the win.
Anything to keep him,
there.
huh?
Right.
Marlee, if you know. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because like Moxley and Hobbs had like a mini alliance during the pandemic era.
I mean, that was the match Hobbs towards Neon, right? The last time they wrestled together.
Yeah,
but it was an IWGP title match.
Oh,
I forgot he was the IWGP champion, bro. Jesus Christ!
Back in, I believe, it was a Daily's Place match.
I forgot all about that.
Okay, I do remember. I thought they couldn't go through with the match, but they like stopped it midway because of his knee.
Something like that was going on.
Yeah.
Was it like 2023, 2024?
About a year ago. Copeland cut a promo or whatever. And Moxley. Sorry, Cope.
We haven't talked about that yet, have we?
No.
No, we have not.
I love Edge. I mean, I've been seeing the memes. Like, once he changed his name, people are like, his mama named him Edge. I'm going to call him Edge. Brother, I guess whatever makes you happy. Whatever makes you happy. Adam Copeland, I mean, we were kind of getting used to it, right?
Honestly, for me, I hear cope and I just immediately go coping with what?
I'm gonna change my name to Sanch. Just Sanch. Yeah.
I feel like if he just came in as Cope into AEW would be one thing, but now that I mean it'd still be dumb. I mean Edge is a dumb name, and yet we love him and we call him that with no hesitation.
I mean, I mean, Tony Chimmel made that name popping. Let's not get it wrong. You know, I mean, he could have just went back to what was his name, Sexton Hardcastle or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, whatever that was.
Speaking of guys who were wrestling almost 30 years ago, Jeff Jarrett, he did not win the Casino Gauntlet. And MJF comes out and tears him down, tries to create an alliance. But Jeff Jarrett says, I ain't going to do that.
What?
I'm gonna win the title the old-fashioned way, because if you don't know, Jeff Jarrett's retiring, taking John Cena's spotlight. And he's trying to go after that title. Not the 17th title, but the 13th world title for old Double J. And I could not care less about
13th.
Jeff Jarrett going after a championship, because he's won all those Death of the WCW titles and all those TNA titles. And I don't know if he's counting the Global Force Championship if he won that. I
mean, I'm not gonna. I'll count the WCW one.
But we draw the line of Global Force champions.
I said I'll count the WCW ones.
Okay. And then in the main event, we had Kenny Omega make his illustrious return. And he cut a little promo just kind of talking about his diverticulitis and, what he kind of went through. And Don Callis comes out. Kenny Omega beats up Don Callis. Don Callis' family runs out. And who makes the save? Will Ospreay. And we have a stare down to end the show. So teasing along with the Okada Omega match that's probably going to happen in Texas. Obviously, a Omega Ospreay match has been teased as well. And Kenny Omega back in an AEW ring next week when he takes on Brian Cage. Because Brian Cage is the designated guy to have an okay match, but we all know he's going to lose.
Really? Not Brian Cage. That's my guy. Or I was messing with Brian Cage and Lucha Underground. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Marlee, do you have any thoughts on all this AEW stuff?
I watched it on Max for the first time. That's one thing. I was home in time to watch it, catch the simulcast. But not really, because I think this is the first AEW programming I've watched in weeks. So it was kind of just getting back into the storylines and the swing of things and catching up. But this is AEW.
It is AEW.
Catch Saturday Night Collision, Harley Cameron, my girl, taking on Mariah May and what they're calling Hot Girl Graps.
What?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that they do. Hashtag Hot Girl Graps. Because I think they're best friends in real life too. So.
Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this Friday, West Coast Pro returns to the stateroom. Only the strong will survive, or only the strong survive. Crush Boys, Titus Alexander, Starboy Charlie, the tag champs. The women's champ, Zara Zacher, WWID, she'll be in attendance. What else we got? Jake something, Masato Tanaka, that's going down. Beef will be in attendance, not taking on Calvin Tankman due to unfortunate events. You got Becca going up against Zara Zacher. What else we got? Alpha Zoe will be there. And then what you got? You got a 4-way, right?
It's like a number one contendership for the new West Coast title.
For the Golden Gate title. Was it Shimbashi versus Brett the Threat versus Jason Xavier versus Danny Orion? A lot's going down. I heard it's sold out. Y'all don't want to miss that. The stateroom shows are always be popping. Come on now, man. Y'all know what the deal is. Marlee and I gonna pull up. If you see us, come say what's cracking. You know what it is.
Charge it to the game.
Charge it to the game, indeed. Thank you all so much. First Bullet Cast of the year is out of the way. And guys, let us know, who do you want to see on this show in 2025? Only did 5 interviews last year. That's not what we do. There was one year I was putting out an interview like every week. I put out like 25 interviews one year. Come on, we got to get back to that. Let us know. Email us, DM us, etc. Y'all know what the deal is. Come on, man. We got to get this thing popping. Thank you all so much. As always, be safe and stay dangerous. Hey, yes, sir.
It's the Bullet Cast. The microphone messiah, Mr. No Days Off. It's the bullet cash, the microphone messiah, Mr. No Days Off.